good, y'all? Welcome back to the channel. Now look, this video right here called "They Take It for Granted," man. And this is just talking about like a lot of people in America taking certain things for granted, obviously by the title. But specifically the two things that I mean right here is the Constitution / Bill of Rights. Excuse me. And specifically the right to bear arms. Now, people really take the Constitution so much for granted, like they don't understand. Like if we were in some sort of monarchy, they'd be against that, or something where everything's just chaos, they'll be just against that. But when we get to when you're so privileged that you want to go to those, let's just say, lifestyles and like ways of life, that's how you know you're too far gone. Now let's talk specifically on the Second Amendment. I said amendment. Nigga, I sound like I'm in Nemo. All right, but specifically on the Second Amendment, bro, what y'all got going on, bro? Niggas just love like beeping their horn at this stop. But like the Second Amendment doesn't say you have to go and get guns. So if you don't want to live that life, all right. I mean, I personally think you should, but I mean, as long as you get the right training and shit like that. But if not, that's just something you take for granted. People like anytime that we need to take away guns. Listen, you stand up, hey, you come through, try to take my guns. I'm gonna look at you like these right before you get shot. That's stupid. But they don't realize how instrumental the Second Amendment is. You look at other countries where a whole bunch of BS is going on, whether it be just physical with Second Amendment, or other things behind the scene that were protected by with other amendments. But just staying on the Second Amendment, it's a multi-layered thing of defense. Now, you can use guns for hunting. That's one reason. And people, if someone's hunting, they can have a gun, blah blah blah, but they don't need this and they don't need that. Stop it. Also, defend against others. I'd rather be shot than stabbed. So a nigga pull up on me with a knife. If 5 niggas pull up on me with a knife, I'm cool and all, but there ain't nothing I could do. If I got the blick on me, they gonna say goodbye. So protect against you or your family, whether it be in your house or you're walking down the street, whatever it may be. Protects. All right, so say if I'm in a grocery store, like you had that Buffalo shooter a couple years ago. Say if I'm in a grocery store and something like that happens, I can be able to defend myself and other people, innocent people, against that active shooter. So hunting, protection, it also protects against. It was mainly put in place against protection for yourself and protection against a tyrannical government. we have no guns, the people have no power. If the people have no power, the government can do whatever they want. And sometimes it's not even the government. It's niggas behind the government that says, nah, we not about to do that. But we about to get into this because I said so. And then also, let's just say our government was A-okay. Every citizen was A-okay. There was no type of violence whatsoever. Like, listen, I'm never going to a state where I cannot carry. Nigga pull up on me with a knife, I ain't going. Simple. But let's just say everything was A-okay. No one ever hurt anyone ever. The government was completely pure. Everything was great. The other thing that it protects against is, let's say, all right, Russia right across the thing. Let's say Russia was in cahoots with Canada, and a whole bunch of countries were in cahoots with Mexico, and all these countries were, like, basically we're about to get surrounded, our whole country. Everyone was like, you know what, I'm tired of the United States doing this, that, and the third. Let's all team up together and get this motherfucker up out of the way. Not only do they have to deal with our Navy, not only do they have to deal with our Air Force, not only do they have to deal with our Coast Guard, not only do they have to deal with their National Guard, not only do they have to deal with all these forms of military, not only do they have to deal with law enforcement, not only do they have to deal with all of that, they gotta deal with armed citizens. So that's besides like all of the strategic, layout of the land, literally, when it comes to the United States, United States, now that predicament I gave, that might be a little tough situation. But besides that, and besides like any nukes and shit like that, even though we're one of the top people when it comes to nukes and military in general, we're pretty much, with the help of the Second Amendment, immune to any foreign invaders. So it's supposed to protect you from confrontations, whether it be like some crazy psycho comes up in your crib, confrontation as in like there's an active shooter who's just on the loose, protects us against a tyrannical government, and protects our whole entire nation if we're under attack. But people take that for granted and try to be like, you know what, these crazy people have guns, and then, they're blah, blah, blah. You can just walk in and get a gun. No, nigga, you can't. Now, granted, it's kind of the thing of like, when there's like a serial killer, and the police like looked at all their leads, it's like, we can't really catch the person unless they kill someone. So it's like the tough predicament where like, we can kind of tell, maybe, help with a few tell signs of this person might, turn into an active shooter. But there's no way to be like, oh, hey, like we can't know someone will become an active shooter or whatever until that moment happens. But, oh, you could just walk in and get a gun. No, you need a background check. The background check is, from the FBI. Now, this probably only protects against, hey, we suspect you of being a foreign spy. But, you can't really get a sense unless there's some sort of, oh, hey, you had schizophrenic behavior when you were 6 years old, so yeah, we're gonna go ahead and put a pause on that. besides that, you can't really, there's nothing you can really do to like counteract that without taking the rights away from the citizens. Now, I'm specifically talking about the Second Amendment, but we could talk about other amendments. I just did a video. It's a Patreon exclusive. I did it like 20 minutes before this one. But freedom of speech. I can't even put the video on YouTube, like, because what the topic was. And the topic wasn't even that crazy. It was just, I was trying to get monetized and I peeped something. I was like, that's not really that much of a big deal to me. I really don't have that much crazy opinions on that certain topic. But basically, I couldn't speak about that certain topic. But people take that for granted. Like, I never understood someone who wants someone to be canceled, or like, oh, hate speech and blah blah blah. If someone, like, listen, if someone, even if it's like defamation, now I want that defamation to never be in light, but let's say the defamation comes to light, people hear about it, I want that defamation to stay up so I can be like, this is that, boom, you're wrong, boom, boom, wrong. You're wrong. Everyone, you can see, like I pointed it out, you can clearly see that person is an idiot. If someone says the sky is green, and I'm not talking about, like, for instance, we perceive the sun as orange and blah blah blah, but the sun is really white. I'm not talking about a scenario like that. If someone says you look up into the sky, your eyes are going to see green, leave that video up. Leave that, even if it's misinformation. We can go and see the video. This person doesn't know what they're talking about. Wrong. But no, take it down. Misinformation. People was, when it came to the whole scamdemic shit, people was really getting strikes, channels taken down, this, that, and the third for speaking up against it. Now it's years later, oh, y'all can talk about that. You know, the whole experiment is done, so y'all can talk about that. Okay, bruh. What else? Like, there's people who, like, for instance, even if it's not, you know, okay, this person's clearly an idiot, there's flat earthers. I don't think the earth is flat, but I'm trying to see what leads you to believe that. But if you take down that video, like, okay, the earth is round, I believe the earth is round. If you take down that video of that person saying the earth is flat, now that leads me to believe that, hold on, there's a little something to this I don't know about. Is the earth really flat? Because you take down the other side. You don't let the other side say what they gotta say. So now, instead of invalidating their argument, you're kind of validating it. I don't believe the earth is flat. But if I go up and see context under everything, oh, this conspiracy theory, blah blah blah, under YouTube videos, I'm gonna be like, why did you need to put that? If it's obviously not real, you can kind of see through it. Or if, let's say it's somewhat believable, you start fooling a couple people, and then other people come in and say, this is wrong, you can see that's wrong because X, Y, Z. Then everyone's like, oh, okay. So now that argument is out of the way. All these things were like, I think, I'm gonna be honest, and I'm not even trying to exaggerate. There's a lot of things I love, so like I'm really trying to think about it for a second. But I think the Constitution was the greatest thing ever created. Especially that they had the hindsight to do this hundreds of years ago, and a lot of this is very applicable nowadays. Now some of them are like, some of the amendments you can kind of just like pass off, and that might just be, oh, you're taking this one for granted. But the first couple amendments, people really do take for granted, like freedom of speech, freedom of religion, right to bear arms. They take that for granted so much. Like, you're willing to give away, and they don't even think about like when something happens to them. And they also take for granted this whole entire nation. Oh, America's this, that. Now you can obviously, America is not perfect. But to say that it's the worst nation is just ridiculous. Niggas literally die trying to come to this country. Children or parents coming to this country to have a life that you take for granted. Now I'd probably like, I don't know, that's tough, like trying to put your like kid in that situation just for them to see, but now they're in a dangerous situation. And then like, it's kind of, I don't know when this video drops, if this video is on Patreon, the video obviously dropped. But the last video I posted on Black Mirror reaction, and like it was like the paparazzi, season 6, episode 4. Just putting a camera in someone's face during this certain situation. I'm not gonna spoil it, but it's kind of like that, where it's just like you can't even just like try to show. It's kind of like, in my opinion, more to like, oh, this person's going through thing, let me just take pictures of them, like, or take videos. Like, it's kind of like, bro, nigga, you could be helping me, but you got the camera in my face instead. But there's children, young children, adults, elderly who die trying to get in this country, and you just take it for granted. Now, I was kind of jaded a little bit, but I was never one to completely just ignore the privilege that us as U.S. citizens had. But yeah, this just, give you something to think about in case you've been taking our rights and privileges for granted. Like, and they really don't think about when it happened. Like, if you do it to someone, it can happen to you too. Oh, this person's promoting hate speech. And then you gotta think about it, nigga. Bro, this is really pussifying everyone, bro. Everyone is such pussies, bro. It's funny, people laughed and said, haha, look at them when it came to Wally. But look at body positivity because of, oh, you say this person's fat and that's hate speech. But look where we're going now. Niggas are talking about weight doesn't equal healthy. Didn't we clown Wally like 20 years ago? Like, bro, what are we saying right now? Niggas was literally, the corporation told me to change this shirt. Bloop. Now we're rocking this color. Drink my little soda. Barely eat my food. Like, nigga, the whole thing of humanity was at stake, and the captain of the entire ship could barely fucking stand. But yeah, thumbs up, subscribe, stay tuned for the next one, and I'm out.